Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Thursday morning for a bonus class. So this was not like pre-scheduled or anything, but if you tuned in last month when we were making all sorts of different kits, we had a paper bouquet class and it went off the rails from the start. So basically I was unpacking the boxes and I got to the point where I was about to start making the kit and I couldn't make the kit because a very, very important piece of the puzzle was missing, and it was the floral stems. So we reached out to Stampin' Up and got replacements sent to us, and then we had to figure out when and where and why and how we were going to be rescheduling. And this morning I actually had myself a week ahead of myself, and I thought that I was going live for Paper Pumpkin, but I wasn't. That's next week. So if you want to watch Paper Pumpkin, I think it's Mountain Majesties, join me next week. But because I was already in the mindset of going live and all that good stuff, I was like, you know what? There's no better time than the present. So, okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was on and that everything was good to go. So, that is what we're here for. We are going to be putting together the Paper Bouquet, which was a kit released by Stampin' Up! Last month, so in March of 2025. So that is what we have on our agenda for today. And look it, I even have fans, even though I wasn't planning on being here. So hello to Polly, Mary, and Connie. Thank you so much for joining on this pop-up ad hoc little class. While we're getting situated, I'm going to plug my hot glue gun in just so that it starts preheating. It's getting hot, so we're going to plug it straight into the wall. Okay, so we are just getting situated. So yes, this is a floral, home decor piece. So, you do need a hot glue gun. So just right off the top, hot glue guns usually take a little bit to get going as well. So make sure to plug yours in if you're doing it. Oh, hello, look at that. We have Emily, Lisa, and Kathy as well. Okay, Kathy has made her kit and she said it's so lovely. Yay, I can't wait to get started. Well, I mean, technically I did kind of get started. I did the unpacking and the prep work last time, and then now we're actually going to assemble them. So I don't know if you remember from the last video as well, I had this like mini hot glue gun and it wasn't working, and so we got the big old hot glue gun, which is what I'm going to be using today as well, except for I could only find one hot glue stick. So Chris is downstairs, and if she finds another one, she's gonna grab it, but we may only have the ability to make one of each of the flowers. I want to make sure we can do that, but I don't want to just start going gangbusters on it and then run out of hot glue and not be able to make all the flowers. So we will see. This bouquet seems to be one kit that is not working with me, so bear with me. But I'm gonna flip down. So just to a little bit cover what we did last time. We looked through the instructions. We talked about all the pieces. We punched out all of the pieces. We have coordinating colors of basic white, cloud cover, darling duckling, garden green, secret sea, strawberry slush, timid tiger, and green, which means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We do have all of the in colors in this bouquet, and they look so great together. I am a fan of it. But what we did was, as we punched them out, we sorted each of the flower contents to be together. These were the extras. So Stampin' Up! Sells empty stamp cases. And they used to sell the 1-inch kind. Now they're all just the size, I think they're 1/2 inch, but they're just the size of the, like, what you would order stamps and they come in. These used to be for wood blocks, which of course we don't sell wood blocks anymore. Everything is on the acrylic. But, so I have some of the old ones that are the thicker ones. Basically, I just grabbed whatever I had around me. So, but that has worked super great to organize and store the kit contents. So that was kind of a tip that we went over last week about how to utilize, how to organize and get set up, because there are a lot of pieces. There are a lot of flowers. So that's great. So we started last time with this Darling Duckling, this beautiful yellow flower. So we may as well start there again. Oh, and the hot glue gun. Okay, so I don't want that dripping. Let's put an acrylic block down. So I have this like desk mat at my workstation, and hot glue sometimes, like when it gets really hot, just flows out of the tip of the nozzle. And I don't want that ruining my desk mat. So fun fact, you can use an acrylic block and it'll catch all the little gooberies, and then you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so lo and behold, drum roll please, here we have the floral stems that I definitely did not lose track of. When they came in the mail, Chris and I both were like, yeah, it's impossible that those were in there and you just absentmindedly sent them to the side. I even had Chris go back and like rewatch the video as I was doing it to make sure that I didn't just, you know, like unpack it and put it off to the side. Definitely didn't. Okay. So we have this flower that I put together without a stem. I don't think I'm going to be able to actually put it on the stem. I could probably creatively find a way to put it on the stem, but we're just going to start right back from the beginning. So we've got 3 of the yellow petals. We have 1 bead. We have 1 starburst and 1 cray paper. You guys, I didn't do very great at biology or whatever that like flower science class is. So I don't know, it's like stamens or something like that, but whatever it is. Okay, so the first step is to take your floral wire and to bend it over in a U, and then to take the bead and feed it up onto there. Then take your wire and wrap it around, it looks like. It looks like a pliers would be a helpful tool to have for this. I don't have a pliers. I'm positive Tyler does, but I'm not sure if I can take a tool and help me with it. So basically, I don't have strong fingers, guys, like not even a little bit. So I will not have the ability to bend that, and I don't even know that any of these tools will work. So in addition to your glue gun, you're gonna maybe want a pliers. I'm probably just gonna bend it. I'm gonna get to do this a bunch of times, so I kind of just tried to tuck the pointy end into the bead. So any way that you can kind of fold that down, and I think the main goal here is just to make sure that you don't have peeky pokiness. That's kind of a hazard. So there's that. Then it looks like we are going to glue the piece of cray paper to put the bead on it. And then you're going to continue to roll it. And it looks like you're gonna roll it and then just glue it shut at the end. I don't think you need to put glue all the way along. And glue is hot, so, you know, be careful. I should say hot glue is hot. Okay, then the next step is to prepare the petals. Sorry, hot glue strings. And to do that, it shows rolling the pieces over a pen, but last time we learned that that really doesn't give it much curl, and instead bring in your bone folder and very lightly, so this is like tissue paper texture, so it's very thin, so you don't want to like tear it right off, so go ahead and just lightly curl. And to do that, what I did was laid my bone folder in my fingers, wrapped my 3 fingers starting at the middle finger back around it, and then I have a quote-unquote finger gun that I am resting my petal on my pointer finger, pushing down on the bone folder with my thumb, and then creating a little bit of tension between my 2 fingers. Of course, there's a couple things between it that then are getting that extra oomph to curl. So go ahead and curl that. Okay, so do that to all 3 of the yellow petals. If you've ever used curling ribbon before, it's the same motion that you use on curling ribbon. And then we're gonna go ahead and do all the peakies of the green starburst, I'm calling it, as well. Okay. Then we are going to take this piece, and it looks like we are going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom of the bead that you're going to meet the flower up to. So I'm going to do that without getting any of the little floral petals in the way. And then it looks like we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to bring up the next set of petals. Okay, so hot glue is very hot. It's not very quote-unquote permanent until it starts to dry. So it started to fall off there. Now, when I'm putting these petals on, what I tried to do last time, because last time I just did a mock-up, obviously I wasn't pulling them up the stem, but there's large gaps between the petals. So you don't want to just lay 3 right on top of each other. You want to kind of curve and turn the petals to fill in those gaps. All right, so next we'll add just another dot of glue. We'll bring the last set of petals up. And then actually last is the starburst. So we're going to put a little bit of extra glue because this is the end. Put the green on there, let it fall through. And then, like I said before, it takes a couple seconds, if not a minute, for the glue to solidify. So I'm gonna let this sit here for just a hot second because I want it to dry nicely and not kind of start to lose its shape here. So this is a completed yellow flower or duckling flower. Step number 5 shows leaves. Now, what I'm understanding from this is that these are leaf picks. The leaves don't actually go onto any of the flowers. So this is like, from my understanding, a completely different quote-unquote project or part of the project. So at this point, I'm going to take the yellow flower and pull it off to the side. And then I'm not going to go right into the leaves yet. I'll probably do the leaves last. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 different varieties, one of which is leaves, but I'm going to just start knocking through the individual flowers, and we'll come to the leaves at the end. So there are 3 of the yellow flowers that we just created, one of. There are 8 of the white ones. So flower number quote unquote 1, you're making 8 of the white ones. So let me get that one next. We need 1 pony bead, 3 white tissue paper flowers, 1 small starburst, and then 1 crepe paper. The steps to create the flower are the same, regardless of what color scheme or shape the petals are. So I'm just going to start by, oops, I ended up with 1 too many tissue paper. I'm going to start by curling some petals, and then we'll get the pony bead on the stem and we'll be in production. Focusing on not tearing it, so. I don't know if you can hear. So first of all, great ASMR on this project. The sound of the bone folder curling against the tissue paper is a beautiful sound. But if you can't hear that, then you probably can't hear the other thing I'm hearing, which is the neighbor here is re-shingling their house. So there's all sorts of, see, I knew that was gonna happen. This one can go probably most towards the middle. I think would be where it is the least noticeable. But like I said, this is thin paper. Obviously you don't want the paper to be thick. That would not make for realistic looking flowers. But I figured there was no way I was gonna make it through the end of this kit without tearing a piece of tissue paper. But anyways, so re-shingling on the neighbor's roof, so I got all sorts of hammering and nail gun sounding in my ears. All right, now when I was putting the green one on, I was wondering if these go up or down, but I would assume they round up into the flower, but I guess I don't really know. Okay. So then we are going to again roll the bead on. I'm not sure here. Maybe if I use the bead to bend it. Okay, that worked pretty well. I just don't want anyone to get hurt. There's no crying in card making, right? Is that a rule? Okay, so now I have it very securely placed in there. Straighten the wire back out and then put a dot of glue. That's stuck. I think I'm supposed to be seeing, no, not that you're really necessarily going to see it, but I think you're supposed to be seeing the bead, not the wire. So let's try to get that stuck up in place. Try again. roll. And then I think I'm also going to put a dab of glue on the bottom here that will hold the bead and wire in place, but it will also then be what the first flower can stick to. So again, I just tore off a little bit of one of the petals. So I think it makes the most sense for that to be the one that's on the innermost part of the flower. You know, I don't really know, but that's gonna be my thought. Need a little more glue in here. Okay, then, my goodness. Okay, then we will put another dot of glue. And thread up the next petals. Again, we're going to kind of spin it so that it fills in the gaps. As you're going, the more of the glue strings you can get off, the better, because they do start to kind of get woven into all of the mixing. Okay. Another dot of glue. Last but not least, the green starburst. A little more generous coating of glue to kind of hold all of the pieces together. And then let that dry while you kind of peel some of the excess off. Okay. So here's the white flower. Pretty, pretty. And then we'll put that on the side. Never really showed you a top view of the yellow flower. Look at that. Okay, so we got two done. Up next, we have the pink flower. So we're back to having a nice big petal. For this flower, we need one pony bead, one cat hair, just kidding, they're everywhere, one starburst, 2 petals per flower here, and then 1 crepe paper. Oh, these are long. Okay. So all of the pieces are a little different. This has longer, taller flower insides. You know flowers, right? What are these little thingies called?
A stamen.
I was right. I just pulled out a flower word and I had no clue.
Stamen. It sounds like a naughty word, but it isn't.
Okay, well
Like
I did call it a stamen. So
that is correct. You learned that in horticulture class.
See, and I called it biology, and I said I don't know what the science class for flowers is
Biology
called.
or horticulture.
Horticulture. See, This is what Stampin' Up! Is all about. Learning.
I
Learning
love it.
and growing into
Yeah.
your adulthood.
Yep, I had that in high school. I had a horticulture class because I wanted to go to school and for flowers, I think, at some point in my life.
Very
I had that
nice.
in my head.
I never was qualified to go to school for flowers.
I didn't want to learn all the flowers, scientific names, and all the names.
Yeah,
but
all that.
seems
It's
like
Latin,
a lot.
right?
It's Latin. It's like, yeah, foreign language to me.
Yeah. Never was my cup of tea. I don't have a green thumb. Okay, so we're going to loop that bead into the wire like we've done several times before. And then again, we are going to roll it around the cray paper stamen. Okay. Dab of glue at the end. And then you probably can go ahead and like tousle these up a little bit. Didn't do that on the other ones, but probably looks more natural and realistic, especially whereas this had a like big chunk of them in the middle. It was nice to kind of pull them apart and give them some life. There you be. Okay, then we got some curling to do. Ew. We're gonna have some goo-goning to do on our work surface when we're done. Easy does it. Remember? No tearing petals this time. Ooh, she's curly. Okay, so now I'm being a little too light-handed because I'm afraid of tearing off a petal. Especially, so the white had 8 petals per. These only have 4, so you can't really tear one off and get away with it. Okay. All right, now we're gonna add some glue to the stem. Bring up our first set of petals, get it situated. And then bring up our second set of petals. And then the green starburst. And that is all on there. I'm going to add just another dollop of daisy hot glue. Let that marinate for a hot second. And then see how beautiful this strawberry slush flower turned out. So pretty. Love this color so much. So there's a preview at that. I could have turned the petals a little more, but I think it started drying before I even noticed. But so there's our strawberry slush flower.
If you want to give people an update on the Beekeeper's Guide, those who requested printed copies that I'm helping to facilitate, they are off to the binder and laminator.
Woohoo!
Like the coverings.
So our goal was to complete the Beekeeper's Guide
While we were gone.
while we were gone, which we did. It is in printing, and actually currently, for those of you that have reached out for a printed copy that Chris is facilitating, they're on their way to the binder. That's so exciting.
And I made it through more of the folder to update, to take people out who didn't earn it. And so I'm in the process of that. My goal is to have by tomorrow
Awesome.
shared.
So the electronic copy, the goal for sharing is for tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for all of those fun resources.
And remind Beekeeper Stampers that the team email went out yesterday. There's lots of good information in it.
Yes, I did. So
Cool.
I
You didn't, huh?
I did go through it, and there is a lot of really good things. So be happy stampers. So people on our team, the team email went out yesterday, and there is a lot of good information in there. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Make sure you check it out. It is definitely worth the read. Okay, so then we have our cloud cover flower. They're all starting the same. This one has 3 sets of petals for our flower head. Go ahead, get your bead in your wire. Then we will curl. So all of the rest of these, there are 3 total. Can't wait to download it, yay! So there are 3 completed flowers of each of these. So the only one that was an exception to that rule is the white flower that we did right after the initial example. Okay. Ooh, the tiny ones are harder to chew. Alright, so go ahead and grab a dot of glue. The more clean your workstation can be, the better. I keep getting caught up on things that actually you can't even see on camera. But it definitely is worth it to clean up your space before you get started so that you don't get tied up in things. Okay, then we are going to lock this bad boy in place and bring up our first petals. Oh, good. So many strings. Okay, so get that up. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us, Anna. Okay, put a smidgen more glue. The second petal is always the hardest one for me. Just trying to get it well, not exactly, but in the neighborhood where I want it so that it's offset from the first one. Number 3. How is Mom today? So today's Thursday, so she had treatment yesterday. And then she doesn't sleep very well for a day or 2 or sometimes 3 after her treatment. So she's tired. So we are looking forward to it. I can't remember, my boyfriend said something about July 2nd. I think that's when his daughter comes back from Germany. She's traveling to Germany with her exchange, with her German class this summer. And I think that's the day that she comes back is the day that my mom's last treatment is. So that is going to be quite a celebratory day. Made that association this morning that was the same day, and it was a very fun thing to stumble upon. All of your flowers had 3 papers. Oh, interesting. I'll have to look into that. So here is the cloud cover. Such a very pretty, like, you know, you'd look at that color and maybe not think like, okay, that's gonna make a nice looking flower, but it sure does. Yeah, so let's see here. Yes, I definitely only have enough for 2 sheets per for the pink one, and we have 1 more pink style, a smaller pink style. Then I'll get to the orange ones again and see, because those also show that they only have 2 papers per. So we'll see. We'll see how my kit comes together. Okay, so we need 1 cray paper, 1 bead, and then we have 1, 2, and 3 pink pieces and 1 starburst piece. All right. For a wire, get that locked in. And then we'll bring in our cray paper. Oh, goodness. Got a little happy with the glue. Clean that up quick before I get something accidentally stuck in it. Okay, then just keep rolling. Open up the stamen a little bit. Okay, then we need to curl some petals. These are small little petals again, so we need to be extra careful not to tear any. Start by getting all of the excess strings off. Okay. Ooh, they curl real nice. Okay, I jinxed myself. Well, I don't know that we'd want them quite that curly anyways. I would say this is a daisy, though I didn't identify any of the other flowers, so some of these may be reminiscent of real flowers, and some of them may just be pretty shapes, not necessarily real flowers in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and last one. Look at the difference that makes. Definitely want to make sure you curl the petals. Much more realistic looking. That on the starburst as well. Okay, time to bring up the flowers.
How are you doing on hot glue? Because I didn't.
I am
remember to
doing
go look.
fine. We will make it. Okay, so we've got the first one. Bring that up to the top. Okay, so I didn't crimp this one as tight, and now there's a distance between the stamen and the petals, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna break the glue that it's held together with and bring that up as high as I can so that I can bring the petals up higher so there's not that kind of floating space. All done very gingerly so I don't break any petals off. I need to extract some of this dried hot glue. All right. Take two. Wee, hot. Okay, time to bring up set of petals number 2 and 3. I do have very strong nails. They are, I love my nails. I'm blessed with very strong and long fingernails. But they say the hair, skin, and nails genes are like all one and the same or something like that. And man, I could go for some strong, healthy hair one of these days. It's all right. Get what you get and you don't whine a bit. I learned that from my preschooler. All right, look at this pretty, pretty flower. Oh, I love it. That one might be my favorite so far. And there is only one to go before we switch to making leaves. So this is another big one where we've got the big stamen pieces, the big starburst, and then 1, 2. Holy man alive. Yeah, we have plenty of pieces for this. So if we're making 3 flowers, we could just sort this out and see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and even an extra. So, Kathy, you were not wrong in saying that there were plenty, at least in my kit, there are plenty of orange pieces. So it shows that you will use 2 orange tissue paper flowers per flower. However, there are enough supplies that you could use 3 and even on one of them 4. So I guess why not? What are you going to do with the extra pieces anyways? So we'll go ahead and do an extra orange. The pink is my favorite. Yay! Maybe you didn't follow the directions. You know what? I think you're not wrong. 9 white and 3 pinks per flower. Well, it all works out. So here's the thing that I'm gathering from this bouquet. There really is no perfect way to do it. I think actually that's kind of how all the kits are. Like, you know, they give you the supplies, they give you a launching point, but you make it your own. So, let's see here, move that out of the way. So, if you wanted your flowers to be more full, maybe you'd get less of them, but you could absolutely make your flowers more full. If you wanted more flowers, yes, you are limited by the number of stems that you have, but you can do them however you please. So, and Kathy, I don't think you're wrong at all. Okay, so I didn't do the greatest job lining this up again. It's a little harder to roll the bead onto the cray paper when the wire is not done super well, but hey, I'm not perfect. Also, as you guys may know, I am definitely a card maker. I used to do a lot of what this is called home decor type projects. I was in 4-H and I did a lot of things like this, but that was half of my life ago. So some of my skills are a little dusty, we may say. Rusty might even be a better word for it. But it's all good. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry while I curl some petals. Losing my mojo on curling petals. Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. I am, honestly, a little scared of breaking off some petals, so you're seeing that in what I'm doing here. Okay, then the starburst. Okay, get the first flower on. Get it situated. Oh yeah, I forgot to open this up again. Oh, come on. This is how we don't get it turned right. I say we like you guys are doing anything wrong. Okay, another big glob of glue. Last of the petals going on hot. Whee!
I made some eggs with you. Are you live yet?
Yep.
I was
Okay.
gonna ask if I made some eggs with you. Eat them.
I actually had eggs for breakfast.
Good job.
I've been doing like adult things.
I love it.
Listen to me.
Good job.
I have tuna for lunch, which I'm actually very much looking forward to. Okay, so there is our big orange flower. We had made an orange. Yeah, I think orange was the first flower. No, just kidding. This is the only orange flower. False alarm. Now we're going to make 3 different kinds of leaves, and then we are done. So we have this oak-looking leaf. We have a crepe paper leaf. And then we have a skinny mini leaf. Now we go back to the instructions. We are off of autopilot now. Okay, so we are taking, there's a score line through the middle of okay, so there are 3 each of 3 different kinds of leaves, and then there's 9 stems for the leaves. And there are score lines through the middle of the harder, like these are quite thick. These are not tissue paper. It also shows that there might be some sort of crease line through the middle of this guy, but with the crepe paper, I'm not seeing it or feeling it, but I think we just go ahead and fold that bad boy. There's a crease for you. And then we are putting the floral stem right through the middle of it. Looks like all the way up to the top. So like basically we're putting it at the top, and that's how that's gonna be. So easy peasy. Lay that in place. Then I'd say when our bouquet is coming together, you can bend this how you need and want it to be bent, so that it looks natural. But then go ahead and crease along. So now this you can see, at least in person. I'm not quite sure if you'll be able to see it on the video or not, but you can see there is a score line put right through the middle of this bad boy. Maybe bring your bone folder. So they're not completely straight and kind of curves with the leaf, but the bone folder at least gives you some, like, I don't know, section to fold with. So you can do that. Bend all of the leaves. Woo, that's nice. And I do have long fingernails, so I'm just going to then further go and bend by pushing in with my fingernails. I would think you could do that with shorter fingernails as well. Not sure. Okay. Beautiful. Then we will put some glue right down the middle of the middle leaf. It's good to be prepared. Could have taken that wire out beforehand, because my glue started to dry. Not good. So we'll try that again. Oh, goodness. So, I got it stuck at the bottom, and in doing so, it loosened the top where it wasn't quite stuck very well. Okay, so now this middle one, or whatever you want to call this, has somewhat of an obnoxious amount of glue on it. But it is what it is. All right, doing the same with the oaky type leaf. I could be wrong. This might not be what an oak tree leaf looks like. But in my mind, this is what an oak tree leaf looks like. And now this one's not pictured, but I'm assuming it's the same thing. You're just putting the wire right down the middle leaf. That's what I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to take my fingernails in and just kind of strengthen the seam here. This one was really good because that was just a straight line. So very easy to do that one with the bone folder. Now, get your wire ready. Ooh. Schmoopsies. Can you tell Hot Glue and I are not, like, we're not cohesive. Okay. Boom. We did it. And by that, I mean we did one of each, which is what we're gonna get because I cannot hog up the airwaves because in just about 10 minutes, if you are interested, is when Rose is doing her Technique Club class. So stay tuned, or, I mean, that will, go find it where you normally find it, basically. But I don't want to distract anyone from having the ability to go watch that. So here are our flowers. Just about a third of it. Obviously, that's 1/8 of the white flowers, but there are 2 more of each of the other flowers. And double the amount of leaves available as well. So, there you have it. Those are the pieces for the paper bouquet, which was a Stampin' Up! Kit released in March of 2025. We are doing the follow-up segment because we had a little mishap in the first one. So I think I covered basically most of everything that we covered in the first one, but if you do want some tips on how to punch out all of the pieces and organize them to make the kit completion, the making of the kit a little easier, I'm telling you, those boxes did work really well. Obviously, you do not need to use those boxes if you don't have them. They are available, the thinner ones, in our Stampin' Up! Store if you are interested, but otherwise, some way to keep all of the pieces together was so helpful. So anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. The weekend is in sight, and sending lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs your way.